I don't know how this is going to work. I just realized that my mic was on mute. So if somebody let me know in the chat um, whether or not you can hear me, I can always change that. And there's no one on the panel yet. I guess I could do this. So I've had a few beers, and oh well, that's cool, Chris. Thank you. So does it sound okay, or should I go back to the? I'm just on a laptop, which is what I've always used. Um, so I don't know. I wanted to touch base with some people and not have to type it in the chat because that's easy to do. So last uh, January, I guess it was January 29th, is when oh, well, that's cool. Thanks, Scott. Um, is when I relocated to where I'm at here now, thanks to my longtime friend and sailing partner at times, Rhonda. So I'm grateful for her taking me in and looking after an old fool like me. And I must say, no, it's not great. It sucks not being able to work. It sucks that I'm relying on the government for my uh, monthly paycheck, I should say. Social Security is weird. At 62, I thought I'd be dead by now. To be honest with you, I thought I'd be dead long before I had to deal with Social Security. It took months, dude. Let's see, my stroke was at the end of June. I thought I was going to be dead. I thought I was going to die. I was prepared to die. I can't say I did anything to hasten that, but I went through periods where I didn't try and delay it either. And I prayed a few times that I would just die in my sleep. You know, like the old prayer. What is the old prayer? It's if I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord, pray to the Lord, my soul He'll keep. And I mean, I prayed for that a few times to where I just wouldn't wake up. And so it wasn't until September of 2019, I'm like, well, I guess the body is stronger than I thought it would be. And so I'm like, well, maybe I am supposed to live and keep going on. You know what I mean? And anyway, so during that time, then I decided to, okay, let me apply for the Social Security. Let me apply for, and let me set up a GoFundMe page. And I did, and the response was wonderful. And it kept me going. I can't tell you how many times I've thought about putting a gun to my head, and I had a few. And well, And I thought, oh, well, that's messy and that's hard for the loved ones left behind. I don't want it to happen that way. So I went through the process of the Social Security thing and the GoFundMe thing. I was able to catch up on my rent. But that was due to the generosity of individuals, people that I'd worked with over the years, some friends that I hadn't seen in years. And that just goes to the good nature of people, you know. And Scott, I hope you're right. I've always thought I had more to give, but I mean, I was in a very dark place, and there's still some things about where I'm at that are dark, but I think it could be a good place. Like Rhonda, my benefactor, as I will call her, is awesome, and it's just that there's some. I don't know. I don't want to go into that. Hey, Mike, how are you? Yeah, no, look, Mike, look. We all have our bad times, you know, and I get that. I get that completely. Um, I know, Scott. I mean, I didn't want to leave a mess like that for somebody. That's why I wanted to. It's a bad enough mess if you just die in your bed, much less, putting a bullet. Well, what's the easiest way to do that? Well, you could put it into your chest. That can still be kind of messy, but it can also be a lot more painful. The brain shot tends to be a little bit quicker. No, Mike, that's the wrong. No, you're not. Dude, if you think about shit like that, now I gotta say, I want to be more positive because, see, I'm past that stage. Because, see, now I have a mission. Ah, yes, that is a new cat. I brought Alfredo Montero along with me, but there were already 6 cats here. Let me think. It could be 7. Alfred might make. Let's see. Let me count it off with my fingers. There's Luna. That's 1. There's Monkey. That's 2. Scout. That's 3. So those are the 3 of what I call the cow cats because they're white and black, and they have spots on them that make them look like a cow. Okay, they look like the freaking cows, that you see with the black and white spots. That's what they look like. So that's 3 of them. Then there's Pablo and Captain. That makes 5. So they look alike. All right, so we're up to 5. So now we're on the second hand. There's, if I repeat any names, please correct me. There's Steve, which is a weird freaking name for a cat. Have you all ever met a cat named Steve? I'll guarantee. I'd be willing to bet. Who wants to put up a wager? How how many cats have you ever been introduced to with the name Steve? I bet the odds are 0. Alright, so that's only 6 cats. Now there's also number 7, which is Rhonda calls it the cat with, she calls it Orange Kitty. Excuse me, Orange Kitty. And I call it the cat with no name. You know the old song? Who did that song? I've been through the desert on a horse with no name. Well, I've been through the desert with a cat with no name because I'm not that big, but I ain't going to be able to ride that cat. So maybe it's only 7. And then Alfred makes, I don't know why I do the backwards thumb because it's Scout that's in here with me now. Mr. Scout. So, anyway, that's where we're at. To talk about the cats was not I don't even know what the purpose of this live stream was, other than the fact that Rhonda, and I hadn't got my check yet, just don't see. Hey, Dano, how are you? I don't know what the hell is going on, Dano. I don't know. I'm just here. I've had a few beers, and I feel okay. Hey, hey, Drone Days, how are you, Bob? Good to see you. See, I can't believe I can't even believe anybody's here. Yeah, I hear you, Mike. All right, Mike. Look, I just tell you from personal experience. You just gotta look ahead, man. You can't look at the present day. I mean, I understand all about just take me out and shoot me, but I get that. I do. And then you don't have to worry about it anymore. But you still got to worry. Even if you drop yourself out in the middle of a field, somebody's still got to deal with it. Whereas if you just drop the hell dead, well, it's not like it was your choice, It's like, oh, well, somebody dig a hole. I don't know. I haven't put out anything in forever, and I really want to I need to think of a good name for this channel. I mean, I already changed it just from my name, so to speak, because this particular channel, which is why, yes, and you're exactly right, Scott, one day at a time. But which is exactly, I mean, I changed, before this particular channel name had my name, first and last name. And then some people gave me shit. Well, why are you doing political stuff on your drone channel? They go there to look at drones. It screws with your algorithm. That was Dan. Drone worship. He's such a dick. He can be a real dick at times. So, all right. So, going to the political side of things. So, I go on the Mike RC Dude channel. Mike's a cool guy. And Carlos has stirred up shit over there before, And anyway, I like ruling, but I'll say it here live. I just don't care for Mars. He's knocked the U.S. too much, the United States too much. And I've never knocked Australia. talked about our healthcare shit and all that, and I'm sorry. Don't knock my fucking country. Oh, excuse me. I didn't mean to. Anyway, I don't know. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Because our country's been involved in some crappy shit. I'll be the first to admit. But there's not a country out there that can't say they haven't done some crappy shit either. And I think overall, our country is a force for good. That force for good may have not have been wielded correctly at times. But at the same time, unless they sold us a bill of goods, sounded like a good thing at the time. You're right, Dan. I'm hoping that September of this year will help to try and turn things around. A lot of this it's like the pendulum on an old grandfather clock, in that the pendulum swings one way and then it swings the other. Okay. During the last election cycle, the pendulum swung way too far to the left. I mean, it really did. And with Trump, yes, he was arrogant. Yes, he said things that irritated me when he said them. It's like, well, he's kind of brash. Well, he's from freaking New York. What do you expect? He just, he was a businessman. Still is a businessman. So, yeah, I mean, they were all over him about the mean tweets and all that. And, yeah, he couldn't keep his mouth shut. There were times when he should have kept his mouth shut. Or he's just too brazen about it. There ain't nobody perfect. But his politics were right there. And everybody respected him. And there's been people, I mean, even the most lefty people, Don Lemon, look at that guy, and whoever, who's the other, Bill Maher and whatever, it was like, this shit that's going on in Ukraine. No, Putin wouldn't have done that. Oh, but Putin was supposed to be Trump's buddy. No. Putin knew better. Everybody knew better. Because they didn't know what the hell Trump was going to do. Just like Soleimani or whatever his name was, he was supposed to stay his ass in Iran. Where did he go? It was somewhere, I don't know, but he was outside the country. I think he was at the embassy in Syria or something. Something like that. It doesn't matter. Trump says, that motherfucker's out. That guy's out of the country. Predator time. Took his ass out to see. That's what you gotta do. And some people might think, oh, well, it should be diplomacy. No, diplomacy had already happened. That jackass had already been told, don't leave that country, or there's a bullseye on your head. And he pushed it. And he pulled his own trigger. Yeah. You think it will take that long? Dano, I am really worried because there's been so much stuff out there about the Great Reset. And that really concerns me because I don't know. It's just like, well, when you talk about the year 2030, if I will be amazed if I make it to 2030. I just hope things don't get crazy stupid before 2030 happens. Because then I don't have to worry. See, here's the difference. Dana, I know you got kids. I know Bob has kids and whatever, and you worry about them. See, I don't have any kids. But throughout the years, I worry about the kids that I've come to love through my sister, my nieces, whatever, and it's like I keep thinking to myself, you poor bastards. You know, I mean, like I'm near the end of my life, so but it still drives me crazy. I don't want to see stupid stuff happening because I want this country to be great even after I'm gone away because I know some of my relatives will be, you know, whether it be nieces, nephews, great nieces, great nephews, they got to live in this world. Well, no, yeah, Mike, I can't. To that comment, I can't answer to that. I mean, I don't know for sure too either. You know, maybe I do have a kid out there somewhere. There's some brilliant mind. I'm not saying I have a brilliant mind. I kind of just did, but the thing is I ain't no dummy either. I mean, I kind of regret the fact that I think I'm a fairly intelligent human being, and I would have passed along some good genes, but such is not the case. So, if I'm trying to read the comments here, if fourth turning shit pans out, their generation will be here. You know, and don't you wonder, Dano? Okay, like everybody here, I'm sure, watches the news, and they see the news or whatever, and they all put their slant on it, and one wonders how this current stage of history, or even the history of Trump, one wonders how that will be recorded, because how that is recorded depends a lot on those who are recording it. So if the recorders of this history, so to speak, have a left-wing mindset or a right-wing mindset, that completely changes the narrative. There are hundreds of people out. That's a stupid way to put it. Millions of people out there, billions even. So they all have their own personal thoughts about what's going on in the world right now. And is that really what they think? Or they think that because of what they've been fed by the deep state, by the globalists, those looking for a great reset of the whole new world order, you just look at, and I'm reiterating some points that many a conservative host make and about the great reset. And they all say that this is all part of this whole COVID crap, get you in the mindset and to control you where you gotta wear a mask, you gotta get a vaccine. And I'll state for the record right now, I've never had a COVID test and I've never had the vaccine and I've never stopped working. When I go into Walmart, I'd wear a mask just because they required it. When I was at work, I didn't wear a mask. Mask is bullshit. Everybody knows this. Anyway, unless you got this like respirator thing on that looks like you're going into a nuclear reactor, that shit don't do shit. What it does do, it deprives you of oxygen. I don't know, it may not deprive you of oxygen, but actually, definitely exposes you to more carbon dioxide than you're supposed to have. I don't know, it's stupid. Everything is stupid. All the vaccines and stuff, my humble opinion, you're making your immune system lazy. I've never, let's see, just when was it, Saturday, I turned 63 years old. I've never had a flu shot, which is another vaccine. What do they say the efficacy rate of that is? I don't know. It changes from year to year, but it's in the 60s. You still gonna get it if you're exposed to it, I guess. But I mean, as an electrician, I had exposure to people all the time. And maybe I had the flu and didn't know it. I certainly got sick at times, but over the last couple of years, I haven't gotten sick at all. Let's see, when was it? It was late 2019 or very early 2020 before they started locking shit down. And I got sick. It wasn't horrible. It was like a cold. Felt like crap, had no energy, whatever, and it's like, oh, I gotta call out. I stayed out 2 days. On the second day, and the whole COVID crap, it hadn't gone into lockdown mode or whatever yet. It wasn't like that. Well, it's freaking cold outside. I got a cold, and I feel like shit. So anyway, it was like the second day, and I'm like, okay, well, I guess I could have gone into work today because I don't feel that bad anymore. You know, the first day I laid out it, I definitely didn't feel like going to work. And the second day, it was like, I really could have gone to work today. But, you know, again, I think it's selfish to some people to going to work. It depends upon how badly they're needed, but if you're sick, you know, no matter whether it's just a common cold, you tend to spread it around. So it's better to stay out if your company can handle that. But I work for a small company, so I actually felt guilty about staying out the second day because we just have a few people working for the company. I don't know. I'm just saying that people, and I'm not anti-vax, If you feel like you need to give back, go for it. You know, I'm just saying I didn't want. First of all, I abhor needles, and as far as getting tested, I didn't want to send somebody sticking a foot long Q-tip up my nose, and rather than rely on some test, rely on how your body feels. Your body knows. Your body knows if it's sick or not. What the hell? You know, I know they're all about the transmission and stuff. But anyway, let's just say, first of all, Fauci should be arrested. At least kicked the hell out of there. That guy needs to go live on a beach somewhere. Certainly he's making enough money off the government to do that, because that prick doesn't know shit. Okay? He's been covering up for his bullshit at the Wuhan labs or whatever, you know. So, I don't know. The problem is when you can't know whether the information you're being given is right or wrong, because they danced around all this shit. And that's not necessarily a Democratic problem. It transcends. And Bongino did a nice broadcast about that, about the haves and the have-nots. And there are those that are connected, and then just you and I. They're connected via the government, via contact, whatever, and this is all part of the Great Reset. So, if you don't know about the Great Reset, look it up. I think, there are people that criticize us for being nationalistic and whatever, but to me, we should worry about our country first, and help the guys out there as much as we can. But in the end, what do they tell you on an airplane? What do they tell you on a ship? You have to save yourself before you can save anybody else. Like in a plane, you depressurize, the oxygen mask drop out, and there's somebody that didn't get their oxygen mask on. The first thing you got to do is put on your oxygen mask. So you've got the oxygen, whatever, and the strength to help that person. Because in your haste to help that person, you might suffocate yourself. Just saying. Those are things so many people fail to realize. So you worry about yourself and your family first. The country second. And then all those other people out there, all right, you're further down the list. If we have the ability to help you. So, that's where I stand. This rant, whatever, took a different turn than I expected. I was going to talk about some personal stuff. I guess I did. But this was, I don't know, I had a few beers, and It's been a while since I've done anything on the channel, and I'm actually shocked that anybody showed up at all. Let's see, I'm doing 2 now. So I don't know who's still listening. Chris was at work. Mike, I think it was work. And so anyway, I didn't say what I wanted to say. I can't remember what I came in here to say, but I'm tired. So I'm just gonna end this. Let's see, how long have I been on? Nobody else is gonna come here. It's first of all, I'm surprised anybody showed up. I don't have many subscribers on this channel. For whatever reason, I decided not to do it under Love My Drones. Let's see, what didn't I cover? It's a mess, and I think the Bidens. Let's see, here's the thing. All right. Anybody that's here, I know, I'm pretty sure Mike is cool. I know Dano is. I know Bob is. Pretty sure Chris Wedgeworth is. They're Republican. They might be registered as independent. Doesn't matter, but they're on the right side of things. And you know how important the election this coming November is. And I need to re-register to vote because now I'm in Duval County versus St. Johns County. So make sure you go vote and make sure this is a red wave because that blue shit, I'm all about the red, white, and blue. I'm all about that. But I think when the original term red, white, and blue came up, it didn't mean about some of these blue people. The blue people, the so-called Democrats that want a socialist government. No, that's not very democratic, actually. That's more like mob rule. And don't you forget that. And there are too many young kids that are being programmed to this mob rule. There's too many professors out there preaching crazy socialist ideals and wanting to tell kindergartners through at the start of kindergarten up to whatever grade level, oh, you can be whatever sex you want to be. And no, that's not the way it works. I thought the speech by I think it's the new North Carolina Lieutenant Governor did a speech in his church. And I love this clip. He goes, I don't care what kind of hormones you take. I don't care how you cut your body up. What kind of... what was the other word? There were 3 things he mentioned. How you identify them. If you're a woman, I love this. He said, you can get yourself, how do you term it? You can go down to the store and buy your dress. You can get made up. You can get cut up. You can have stuff injected into you. But you're still going to be a man. Or you're still going to be a woman. That's just the way it is. As he said, it's genetics, and it's what God gave you. And it doesn't mean you can't act like the other. Okay, I'm in with what he said, but this is what I say. You can act like the other sex, or you can act like one of these other 26 sexes that they've supposedly identified. You all gotta have a different letter. All gotta have a different letter. Well, I'm like, well, I kind of waver. Times I'm a guy, sometimes I'm a girl, sometimes I'm non-binary. What does that even mean? This is what I'm telling you. This has nothing to do with gay or straight. Okay? And from what I understand, the gays are kind of upset about this because it's like, man, they're hijacking our whole deal. You know? Because you got heterosexuals, and I don't know why it should be a bad term. It's just describing the nature of their preference. Homosexual. That's Homo sapiens are two different genders getting together and they can have a kid. And the other one, no, wait, we're all Homo sapiens. I'm confused now. Anyway. Oh, wait, I'm having a brain fart here. I'm not well versed on this. I don't know if that's good or bad. Okay, so there's, oh wait, we've got a couple sexuals in there. So what's the normal one? And that's not bad saying normal. Sorry, hate to tell you, but normal is a man and a woman. That's normal. Then you have homosexuality, which is two people of the same sex being intimate. And then there's bisexual, where they will go either way. So, all right. So that's not specifically a gender, though. That just describes the interaction. All right. So let's go into genders. We either have male or female. I don't know where the other ones come in at. So whoever, if anybody ever sees that, other than the 4 people, and there are actually 3 people still here according to my screen, but I'd be interested to know. I mean, I don't know. I've heard a lot of them. There's a few I don't have any graphics to show. The bottom line is a bunch of college kids came up with this shit. In my line of thinking, it's because they don't want to be labeled. Oh, well, I'm kind of like that, but not really. Let me make up a different letter for that shit. And that's what it is, because you think about it now, what is it? What is the proper term? LGB. I know. I mean, I can only get the first three right. Lesbian, gay, and first of all, why do lesbians get to have their own designation? Because I mean, to me, gay is two people of the same sex loving each other. Okay, now there's anything wrong with that. Just don't put your value on the kids. And most of them are like that. And that goes for the lesbians too. At least the older lesbians. But why do lesbians and gays get so you're sexualizing gays? Because automatic and you're sexualizing lesbians. Because to me, gay, to me, I'm old. I'm 63 years old. So when people said you were gay, that just meant, well, when I was growing up, when people said you were gay, that just meant you're happy-go-lucky and shit. It didn't have anything to do with who you wanted to sit in a bed with, be in a bed with. But then it became gay as like two people of the same sex that like to get in the same bed together. Okay, but the lesbians didn't like that. They wanted to have their own classification. So technically, lesbians and gays are the same thing, except two guys and two girls together are both considered gay. But lesbians that's a female only club apparently. So why don't men have their own club? I'm confused. This whole letter designation thing really has me in quandary. And I'd love for somebody to explain it to me if they could. But I don't think they can. Because I think a lot of this is, I mean, like the gay lesbian community's been around forever. I get that, and I recognize that, and there's actually a lot of it was heterosexual versus homosexual. I couldn't figure out what the straight name was. Anyway, I mean, as a guy, I am a man. I identify as a man. I mean, there's certainly allure to a couple lesbians. That's more so if they're bi. It's like, oh, I'd love to get on that party. Who hasn't fantasized? Any red-blooded male out there has fantasized about that. So, if you haven't, then there's something wrong with you. That's all I gotta say. Well, unless you're deeply religious, and I get that. That's cool. But it's like, I just think there is too much emphasis on trying to subcategorize people. Not just categorize people, put them in a pocket, but putting them into a smaller pocket. And I will tell you, over my years, I'm 63 years old. I've seen a lot over my years. Most of the jobs I've had, I had to interact. I would say all jobs I've had to interact with a lot of people. And part of that, well, I was in the florist business. knew all kinds of gay people. I have nothing against gay people. And they don't have a problem with me. Everybody just needs to be honest. But the bottom line is, I mean, I probably said that before, but the people, it's almost like these days people want their own classification. Why do you want that? Everything people do these days tries to classify somebody into some group. Do you know what the main group we need? If you live here in the United States, the first group you need to belong to is that of being an American. We live in the same country. At the end of the day, we all have the same needs. We need a roof over our heads. We need energy to turn the lights on and off. And, well, if you don't have that, a roof over your head isn't much to go on. And then you also need the ability for income to come in. You need to be able to go to work, or if you're retired, what you've paid during the years while you've worked, some of those taxes and shit are supposed to come back to you. Okay? And if your country provides that, then okay. That's cool. You're an American. Now, if you want to subclassify yourself into, well, I'm male or female, that's fine too. Or whatever gender you associate yourself with. But the bottom line is we're all in this together. So rather than trying to put yourself out in a separate little group, we all need to be part of a family. And that is a family of Americans. And I hate to say it, this is a political channel, but Democrats do everything they can to divide us. And I'm not saying the Republicans are perfect. Absolutely they are not. But the demographics show it. The black people, the brown people, the Asian people, they understand freedom and liberty. And they don't like what's going on either. That's why they're swinging to the Republican side. Now, Republicans, there are a lot of Republicans out there that are pieces of shit too. Part of the swamp. I won't deny that. I'd love to see Mitch McConnell get canned. I wish he'd get a decent person to come up against him because he's a piece of shit. I think Mitch McConnell is a piece of shit. I'll say that right now. Represents a great state. Why they keep voting for that asshole, I'll never know. He is a rhino from the World Goat. If anybody wants to shoot that, you're welcome to do that. There's a number of other ones. And Mitt Romney, talk about a rhino. I regret. I originally, I guess it was it 2016? He was in the primaries, and I actually voted for him. I think Trump was running that year, but then he dropped out. Mitt Romney, I'm a Mormon, and I'm ashamed I ever voted for that guy because he's march of Black Lives Matter and all that. Utah, you need to kick his ass out. I'm sorry. Mitt Romney is a politician, and he's in it for him, not for anybody else. Sorry. And for those, Biden needs to be gone. There's no doubt about that. He's a fool. He's an old fool. How anybody voted for him in the first place, I don't know. Is it anybody but Trump people? And for you, anybody but Trump people? Yes. Donald Trump could be obnoxious. Absolutely. There were times he embarrassed me. That one debate, I was embarrassed. But at the end of the day, he's from New York. Most New Yorkers are obnoxious, especially that prick Carlos. I had to throw that in there. I couldn't help it. But, I mean, that's just the way they come across. But he's a businessman and not a politician. Oh, he sent out all these mean tweets, and yeah, he did bust the mainstream media's balls, but what he did, that's what you got to look at. Not his words, not what he said, not how obnoxious he was, but rather the results of everything he did. We became a net petroleum exporter. We exported more than we pulled in. Made a lot of money out of that. What's the first thing Biden does? Shuts all that shit down. Just shut it down. Oh! Which was Putin's perfect moment. Because then, it's like, oh yeah. He probably did the little knuckle thing with the, like Nancy Pelosi did when she rubbed her knuckles. Nobody can ever figure out what that was all about. But they killed our energy just like Putin killed Germany's energy. Oh, we'll send you Russia. It's like, oh yeah, we'll send you all the gas you need. You can shut down your nuclear reactors and all your fracking, and fracking is horrible. He did the same thing, disinformation shit here too, to shut down our fracking. So the first thing Biden does is that anything Trump did, that's gone. We're wiping that shit off the map. You know, all the steel laying out there for the border where we're getting flooded with 18,000 migrants a day. The jackass turned all that shit off. Biden. He did that. I mean, I can understand if you thought Trump was an asshole. But that doesn't mean you shut down shit that's working. No, Biden is an old, messed up. I started to use the F word. I changed it to the M word, messed up instead. But the F word is more appropriate. That guy doesn't deserve an office, deserve to be in office. He should have never been in office. And hell, he probably outlived his usefulness in the Senate 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Oh, yeah, well, what are you doing? What was it? I think Obama actually said, oh, yeah, old Joe will definitely mess it up. So, there you go. I've ran it on long enough, and Nobody's here. Let's see, there's actually 3 people here. Let's see. I wonder if I count as 1. Mike said he was listening in the background. Oh, yeah, Bob made a good point at 6:26. That's been ages ago. I don't know if he's still around, but he was talking about the Great Reset. I'm telling you, dude, there's a lot of me that is glad I'm an old bastard and that could drop dead at any moment because it's messed up out there. It really is. I listen to a lot of political stuff. I like Ben Shapiro. I like Dave Rubin. I like Bongino. And I like a lot of Fox people. I like Jesse Waters. Uh, what's the guy? Tucker Carlson. Tucker kicks ass. I think Tucker kicks ass. And I like Gutfeld. You know, Gutfeld is like more comedic, supposed to be more comedic, but they still talk about real shit. And Bob and I, Drone Days, both had a concerted effort because there were times when I'd see, because I don't have TV. So the only way I get Gutfeld or whatever is whatever's on YouTube. But I noticed if you look, when they look, it's to the right of Gutfeld. But there's a shelf with some books on it and shit. And there's an hourglass sitting up there. And there was a couple weeks that went by where the hourglass was just empty. All the sand had run down to the bottom of it. And it was driving me fucking crazy. So I made a comment on a video. I'm like, you need to get somebody to turn the hourglass over. And I kept saying that. I'd watch another video or another video, be a day after or whatever. And I was like, would you please get somebody to turn over the damn hourglass? And I think I even said at one point in a comment, not that, I mean, you probably get 1,000 comments, but at some point, and I think Bob Drone Days even left a comment for them that said, turn over the, what do they call it? The thing with the sand in it? I can't even think of what that is. But hourglass. So, like the whole Wizard of Oz thing. And now they are very good at it. That hourglass is run almost every time you see a clip from there. So pay attention to that. And I'll add, right, watch a Gutfeld video. He's on YouTube. It's Fox News. Say something about the hourglass. Now, I'll say they've been doing a very good job of it lately. So just happy to see you got the hourglass running. I don't know, just something like that. I'm telling you. So, I don't know. I've run out of things to say. I don't have a co-host. I put the link in there, and there's probably somebody else already on. There's 3 people here. I can't believe there's still 3 people here. Let's go, Brandon. That's right. Chris, thanks for being here. I appreciate you, brother. So, I would say, were you at the South Florida Drone Meet, Chris? I've never met you, but you come on and do a couple of my streams. Actually, I'm surprised that you found me on this stream. Okay, that's why I thought you were doing. You're at work. What do? Do you mind saying what you do? So it's still 7 o'clock there because I think you're in the same time zone as me. Maybe you're not. Where are you at? Northern California. Oh, well, hell, you'll be at work for a while now. All right. That California shit's got to be rough, man. It kind of, Northern California might be more red. Now I got to think about it. I know you're red, brother. I know you're right on the right side of the political aisle. I'm just surprised that you know this channel too. But I'm happy you do, because I don't do much about, you're a diesel mechanic. That's tough work. It's got to be gratifying. There's nothing, I mean, it's cool. It's got to be cool to go into something and fix it and make it run again. There's something very, I'm a tradesman too. I'm an electrician, but you know, it's the same basic concept in that something's broken, it ain't working. I go in and I fix it. And who knows what you might have to do when you first assess the situation. It could be something simple, stupid, or it could be something really bad. It takes a lot of work. Mean tweet. Yeah, good. Yeah. I'll take the mean tweets any day. What is it, Chris? I mean, it's like, has America got so wimped out that they can't take somebody calling you a piece of shit or you're an asshole or whatever? No, I mean, when you look at it at the end, you know, he's just getting mad and replying to somebody else. Yes, it is sad. It's like all these people that get offended over nothing. Over nothing. They get offended if you offend a group. I mean, I can understand if they get offended if somebody makes a direct slur to them. Directly in their face. It's completely directed about you. Has nothing to do with your lifestyle. You know, whether you're gay, straight, heterosexual, whatever. Has nothing to do with any of that. Just maybe you're ugly or whatever. You know, and it's a personal attack against you. I get getting upset about it. But not, oh, you happen to be gay. You perceive something that seems to be anti-gay. Like somebody was talking directly to you and they never look at the context. Oh, well, it's just against a gay person and I'm gay. So automatically they're ostracized. That's hate speech, whatever. The same thing goes with the race crap. It's fun. People say just the wrong word or the phrase, and some other idiot interprets it completely different from the way it was meant to be. I just the intolerance of people today. People talk about being inclusive with everybody else and whatever. Those same people preaching inclusivity are some of the most divisive, so let me try and say it right, divisive divisive people there are. They want to pick apart every phrase to try and make it like it's divisive. They are the most divisive people they are. And that's sad because we should all identify as Americans first. We all have some commonality, but it's like those, especially the younger ones, they want to identify as something singular. And they, what's the word? I don't even know what happened. At 63 years old, I don't know what half of this means or what they think it means. People talk about being binary. Well, to me, binary is either a 1 or a 0. So to me, that's either you're the male or you're female. You can be male and like a female, or you can be male and like another male. You can be female and like a female, and you're still female. But that's still binary. How do you get the shit in between? I don't get it. I don't get it. That's like the difference between hot and cold. That's like the difference between underwater and above the water. You only get two. I'm sorry. You might feel like the other one. It doesn't make you the other one. So I guess that's where the letters come in. I don't know. But still, I'm just old. I'm not. I mean, to me, they're like radical theories. Okay, where did you come up with that? So, anyway, run out of gas. What am I to say other than my hope is that better days are coming. We can't impeach the fool. We can't throw him out of office. The thing is for everybody to make sure that they get a vote this November. At least all the red guys. Red people, I should say. Oh, let me be inclusive. We got to get the people in there. Let's just say, yeah, Bob, exactly. Let's go, Brandon. Oh, you need to explain that, Bob. You want to come in a minute? Can you come in a minute? What are you doing? Come in a minute. I want to know. Chris, I am happy with the timeline I grew up into, brother. I hear you, man. Because I would hate to be a kid growing up in this age. I really would. It sucked balls. I got you, Bob. It's no worries, Bob. No, man. When I grew up, it was the best time in the world. It was the best time in the world. I think it's a Billy Joel song. I could be wrong about that, but the song actually says it'd probably be considered a homophobic song now, but I think it was a Billy Joel song. I'm not sure. When guys were, is that what it was? When guys were guys and girls were girls. I'm not sure. But I know when I grew up on a creek. We had a big ass backyard. All the kids and neighborhood kids would play together. We'd go out on our bicycles and ride around the circle and shit like that. There were no video games. No. your games were outside. Or, might have had games inside, but no, everybody wanted to be outside, running around, doing whatever. That's what you did. That's how you had fun. Now kids are all locked up. Part of it is just the way society is degraded. But, video games were out and shit like that. You know what kind of video games I had when I was growing up? Pong. I remember when we got a Pong game. Everybody knows. Hey, Rigger, how are you? Everybody remembers Pong, man. It was like, oh, man, that's really cool. But you can only play that for so long, and you're going to hell outside, That's where all the fun was. There's a creek in the back of the house. You cruise down a creek in the boat or go across the creek to alongside the graveyard and do some swamp tromping. That was the best, man. Good for you, getting out there in the fresh air and sunshine. Now kids are just holed up in their freaking house, and the parents don't want to let them go outside because you don't know what kind of perverts are out there cruising around and shit. I'm doing okay, Rigger. I got a couple beers in me. Well, more than a couple now. It's more like, I think this is my fourth one. But I just had to. Yeah, I'm surprised you found me, man. This is not even on my most subscriber channel, but it's great to see you. Say hello to Dorothy, Ainsley, and Ruby, because I know them all and they're pretty cool. So I love you guys, and I hope we can do a Wi-Fi soon. That would be cool. Bob is working, and so I'm still here. I don't know what my computer's hooked up to a Wi-Fi connection, and I'm using earbuds. This is the first time I've ever done this, actually. So I don't know how this is working out, but first live I've done in a while, and it's all through Wi-Fi. So yeah, well, it's been a while since I've flown to Mark. It has, and I need to take care of that. It's been really windy here, and I remember people talking about, oh, it's too windy to fly or whatever. Well, to me, it's not too windy to fly if you're out in the open, even though that tends to make the wind worse. But I kind of have a limited flying area, so just a slight gust of wind kind of screws things up real quick. You wind up in a tree or whatever. It's just been really windy, so it's that time of year and it's funny because what's the saying? March comes in like a lion and leaves like a lamb. Well, it's April 12th, and the lion is still freaking here. Okay? It really is. Like, wind is in the morning. I could fly in the morning, but no, exactly, Rigger. Yeah. So, I've wow, 3 months. That's wet and soggy. Yeah, you're on the Pacific coast. That's the way it works. That's what I've always heard. I mean, even about Oregon and Washington State, and you're just up the coast from that. So I would imagine they have the, the weather pattern that's just in that area. The wet coast. No, I no. I mean, I've never heard the term wet coast before, but I've heard. I mean, I just know from hearing about Oregon and Washington State, and again, you're just up the road from there, that it's cloudy and shit a vast majority of the days out of a 365-day year. Actually, I've heard that suicide rate and stuff is really high in Washington State and Oregon, or depression levels or something like that is a lot higher in those states than it is in the other 48 states, just because it's gray and gloomy all the damn time, it sucks when you only see the sun 66% out of the time of the 365 days out of the year you got. Yeah, an hour late. So are you on an island now, Mark? I can't imagine getting to that, getting used to that. I mean, I guess it would depend upon the size of the island. If it was big enough to where it had all the basic necessities, uh, there's a lot of places, I guess, you gotta drive an hour to get somewhere, or if part of that time is spent on a ferry, I guess that's, I don't know, I've never lived that far away from anything. I mean, I've certainly made long trips to get to something I wanted specifically, but as far as to go to a grocery store or whatever, I've never had to take that much time to get to. Oh, wow. So, in other words, going over the mountain range is not a good option. The best way is just to take the hour-long ferry ride. Okay. Damn. Well, I will put this. As long as you have supplies, sounds like a good place to weather when the world comes apart. Hopefully it won't. Not saying it will. I'm not predicting that, by the way. We're going to have to rely on Elon Musk to hold things together. Um, I mean, I'd rather jump on board with Elon rather than some of these other global reset guys like Mark Zuckerberg. The what's the what the hell is it called? The one with Charles Schwab in it. I just that's not his name, but he's like some German Nazi guy. Damn sure a socialist. I think Zuckerberg and Bill Gates too. Screw that guy. That guy's messed up too. Bill Gates, okay. You planted your greenhouse. Cool. That's cool. So what'd you plant, Rigger? And how long will it... I didn't know you had a greenhouse. You need to do a yurt. Oh, that's badass, Mark. That's cool. That's awesome. And I envy you for that. I don't have a ready-made place I can go for that. The one place I could go to would be the old homestead in Alabama, but I have no prepared things to do that. I commend you on having that shit in order. That's badass. I commend you for doing that because for all we know, you, Dorothy, Ruby, and Ainsley might be, you might be part of what helps continue the human race. Who the hell knows? I don't know. It won't be me. I might help somebody do that if it happens soon, but hopefully it will happen much later than sooner so I don't have to worry about it. But I get being prepared, and one should be prepared. I mean, some of the stuff you've seen, talk about. I mean, they're talking about food shortages here. Ukraine and Russia is actually the breadbasket of the world. And you know why it is? You know what a lot of that is to do with? Here we go. I'm going to go off on a tangent here. Because, first of all, Ukraine and Russia is where most of the world's grain is produced. Now, you look at the plains of America, and this is what is really upsetting to me. And that is that the plains of America, they can grow wheat just freaking fine. But no. Do they grow wheat? No. They grow a shitload of corn for ethanol that they can throw into a real gasoline. That's a petroleum product. But it's renewable. And yes, you can eat corn. But that being said, corn is good for fiber. It don't have much else. That's all it's good for. Good to make a turd. Doesn't have many calories. Has very little nutritional component. Yeah, cows will eat it. Oh yeah, you can make corn liquor out of it. Yeah, you can make ethanol for cars out of it. But wheat goes a lot further. And it is all that few people realize how long this green bullshit has been going on. It's like we got all kinds of fucking oil. Excuse me. Lots of oil. Tons of oil in Alaska and all this. Oh no, just shut it down. No, anything growing in the ground that becomes a plant should be something to eat, not to run our cars on, because all the crap we need to run our cars on is already in the ground. We just need to pump it up. That's all we need to do. No, we don't need to give farmers subsidies. Give them subsidies to grow wheat. I don't have anything against subsidies for farmers, but don't do it in the name of renewable energy or whatever. Do it in the name of renewable food. Whoa, we can grow food here. Give us a subsidy. I'm all for that. Hell yeah. I'd rather give a subsidy to farmers here to grow our wheat where the money stays here rather than pay Russia or, sorry, Ukraine, but I'd rather us grow our own wheat here. How is corn more profitable than wheat? Oh, because it's for energy and the government deemed it so. So, anyway, I'm down to one person here. There's been some good thoughts in here, by the way, I think, although some personal stuff. But I'm going to end this broadcast at this time just because we'll go out and smoke a cigarette. So, Mark, thanks for coming in. We're down to one. I guess you're at. Not that that's a bad thing, but I just want to go outside and smoke a cigarette now. And I need a fresh beer, too. So I'm going to end this broadcast. Later, everybody. Take it easy, alligator. Hey, man, Rigger, you, Darcy, and the kids, love you guys, and happy to know you. You too, man. Later.